Here we are with Mac Bell, self-made entrepreneur. Well, you came from, you told me you lived at the Wellspring House.
Well, the Wellspring House, before it was the Wellspring House, was a beautiful home in West Gloucester that my mother and father created, and we were lucky enough that when we sold it to some people who were going to make a restaurant out of it, when they chose not to, they sold it to the wonderful people that created the Wellspring House. And so it's just a piece of blessed history. And as we were just talking about the outliers, it's my history of family and good fortune that I'm very fortunate and very much a beneficiary of good fortune.
But you've made your you've taken extraordinary risks at a young age.
Well, I've been very blessed with a great deal of energy and a great deal of love for Gloucester, and I've been doing a lot of reflecting. Today is my oldest daughter Winnie's birthday, and she's working and studying in Rome, and I'm very blessed. My 5 children, each one of them is just such an incredible gift, and my 97-year-old father, my 87-year-old mother, my brother that cares for them, my sisters, we're just an incredibly fortunate family. So I've been the beneficiary of growing up in Gloucester and having seen the success of my great-grandfather, who came to this building in 1906, and
to let people know, we're in the Chamber of Commerce, the original Mighty Mac building.
Right. It used to be the Cape Ann Manufacturing building. If you are out on Commercial Street and you look up, you'll see the cement that says Cape Ann Manufacturing. And the front part of the building was built by my grandfather in 1922, but when my great-grandfather came with his daughter from Russia in 1906, they started making oilskins in this building, and they were successful at making oilskins for the Gloucester fishermen starting in 1906, and then by 1910 they started making Mackinaw coats, the black and red wool hunting coat that the fishermen wore underneath their oilskins, and they made such a good product that they became known as the Mighty Mackinaw Company.
Ah, okay, that's where it comes in. Okay.
Yeah, and so when my grandfather took over, they were the Mighty Mackinaw Company, and he and his partner successfully built the business, and my father had to quit college and take over during the Depression when his father died of cancer in 1930, and he put his siblings through school, and he was the boss, older brother of the fam, and he loved Gloucester. He loved making the best product that they could, and I grew up with this sense of pride that my dad and I would get to travel together on his business. That would be when he and I would connect, and people would say, how do you make such a great product? How is it that Mighty Mac is such a great coat? And he'd say, we just try to make a product that our community will be proud of, because we live in the most beautiful place in the world.
Well, that's pretty apparent, and it seems like that's something that you've carried through every part of your business ventures, because when you look, do you consider yourself a real estate developer? I'm going to say, just for the sake of argument, right? I'm going to say, in your real estate developments, right? When there are people that when they look at a development and they're going to say, all right, I have to look at the cost of putting up this building, and maybe I have to cut corners here, maybe I have to cut corners there, and they're looking at it from a financial point of view. But it seems to me, when you go into a project, you're not looking necessarily at what's the cheapest way to get it done, but you're looking at what can be the best way to do it for the community. For example, that building where the Goldman's was, right? You got the codfish over the thing, and you retain those elements I mean, beautiful. It's not a hack job. The front of this building that we're sitting in with the manufacturing company, you took down, instead of going over it with vinyl, instead of going over it with vinyl, whatever else, right? You were telling me the story. There was tar, and there was other stuff, cement, stucco, that had to be scraped down. Other people wouldn't have gone through that.
Right. Right.
But to retain these elements that are Gloucester and have made the place a better place to be.
Right. Well,
so what is that part of what got instilled to you? Where did that come from?
Yeah, my mom is from Mississippi, and she came from farm and very poor background. Her daddy worked on the railroad and did a great job, but they were poor Mississippi folk, and Daddy grew up with this love and passion for quality and this love and passion for Gloucester, and both of them always spoke of, if a job's worth doing, it's worth doing well. And my father's favorite saying that he created and printed signs up of, I've got some around, but I guess not right here, but his favorite saying was, profit is the residual benefit of a job well done. And so I've always believed and been fortunate enough to have succeeded, and it's been by the skin of my teeth a couple of times, but the process is to do the best job, and I've oftentimes, gone the extra margin because it's not about it. You got to have profit in mind, because you got to survive, and you can fall on one side of that profit line or the other. And it's pretty bad when you fall on the wrong side of it, and we've all been there. But the challenge is how to get the good stuff in there, and it's really that goal of doing the best you can and following your heart. And my children have always heard that, and my mother and father's children always heard that. It's all about doing the best you can, following your heart. And when you're living and loving your community like we feel about Gloucester, it's a natural. You wouldn't want to do it any other way. And just as that harbor is the most magnificent in the world, and certainly one of them, and those sunsets are to die for, and those of us who are so lucky to, as I say, have 2 legs and 2 arms, those of us who are so blessed to have our health, and when you get that miracle of your children being healthy and all these blessings, you just got to add it up, and you just say, I'm going to do the best job I can. And it's not always easy, but those of us who have the good fortune to be able to make choice and do the best that we can, I consider ourselves very, very lucky.
Now, we have an opportunity we're going to get to in a little bit. We're going to go through the Birdseye building and show people, what's inside there now, and we're going to talk about some of the visions that you have, and some of but the thing I think that's interesting is you have invited people to give, community and the neighborhood to give opinions on what they would like to see. Now we'll talk about that in the next clip, and thank you so much, and we'll get to it in a sec.